Hello and welcome everyone to our RCRL Season 5 calendar reveal and tier placements. I'll be your host for this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's your boy B Kush, Cushy, Kush, whatever you want to call me, coming to you live. All right, so without further ado, let's get it cracking with the calendar reveal, and then we'll go on to the tier placements. So here comes the calendar reveal. All right. So, as you all know so far, the first kind of preseason race that we got coming up is going to be our preseason testing, which is next Sunday, the 6th. We'll be racing around the Catalunya de Barcelona, Spain. So, looking forward to that. You know, once we get our teams and drivers sorted out next Saturday, we'll be able to come together and get some preseason testing done before the race is the following week, which is our race number 1, which will be Bahrain, February 13th. So, be racing around the Sakir circuit, getting some good time around there. Hello to everyone in the chat. Has George been teaching you PowerPoint? Yeah, man. George Russell's been pretty key in demonstrating how to effectively put together and present a PowerPoint. So thanks for that. Anyways, after Bahrain, which will be our first race on Sunday, February 13th, we will be going to Portugal. A good track that everybody's, getting used to still and trying to overcome some little topsy-turvy little turns and everything. So should be fun. So February 20th, race number 2 in Portugal. After Portugal, we'll be going to the sunny streets of Russia on February 27th. This long straight track with a bunch of different turns and chicanes. Going to be a bit of a tricky one for everyone, but should be fun times as it always produces some great racing over here. Yeah, I see some people liking everything going on. So, yeah. So, first 3 races, we'll have Bahrain, Portugal, Russia. Next on the list, we have China on March 6th. This tight and tricky track kind of poses problems for so many different drivers, but should make for some great racing around this long track with some pretty long straights, especially that back straight with the long DRS range that everybody seems to do some pretty good overtaking on. So always produces a great race. After China, we'll be heading to Mexico. We will be meeting the Mexican Minister of Defense there, Sergio Perez, obviously, on March the 13th. So always a great track. I like it personally, so should be pretty good to go around here. After Mexico, we will be heading to, I'm sure everybody is now cheering in the UK over there, so we will be heading to the United Kingdom, Britain, for some great racing around Silverstone. Nah, don't be booing. It's okay. Even though, one of the other tracks in here is one of my better favorites, but UK always gives some great racing and is such a key integral part in Formula One calendar and the sport in general. So always produces some great racing and it's very historic. So always a fan of it. After the race in Britain, we'll be heading to Canada, home of Lance and Lawrence Stroll. So should be fun. Some people don't like this track just because we got the Wall of Champions, but you got to know how to take the turn, So, always a great time around Canada. I personally like it too. So, after Canada, hey, don't be saying that there's no Monaco yet, man. We're only 7 races in. We still got tons of more tracks to go through and tons more races on the calendar. So, keep an eye out. You have disabilities at Canada. Stone, I think you got disabilities everywhere, bud. But just kidding. All right. So after Canada, we will be taking it to back across the pond to France. I always butcher the name, but I think it's Le Castellet, something like that. So, not one of my favorites, but everyone else seems to like it. Be racing around there on April 3rd, so get ready. After France, we will be heading to Monza. Staple in the Formula One calendar again. Everyone seems to love Monza, and again, it produces such historic racing and is such an integral part in Formula One and its history. So, always a great time being around Italy, home of Ferrari. So, obviously, my favorite. Next up, we'll be going around Hungary. Oh, great times in the chat. Anyway, so home of Esteban Ocon's first win in Formula One, as I'm sure you all were aware from last year or last season. So race number 10 will be in Hungary on Sunday, April 17th. After that, we will be heading to my home race, the USA, America. Yeehaw! This awesome track has always been a tough one, but it's always produced great racing throughout all the tiers that we have in RCRL and always is a staple in our calendars. So always have some great racing here. No booing, no booing. We didn't boo the Silverstone one, Silverstone's a great track. So is America. So is Coda. Don't be booing. So after the USA, home of the free, land of the brave, we will be heading to the Netherlands for Max Verstappen's homeland, taking it around Zandvoort on May 1st. So get your Justin Timberlake memes ready because it's going to be May in the Netherlands. After that, we'll be heading to Abu Dhabi, where obviously we all know that there was some very controversial moments in the very last race of the in real life Formula One series. And also in our RCRL series, there was some very dramatic moments in last season. People fighting for championships, only a few points off of each other, Connor and I. But it was a great time. Big ups to Connor for winning in Tier 3. Big ups to Merc Fusion for also winning it there. Why is it round 13? Well, we got to shake it up. You can't just have Abu Dhabi as the last race every single time. So, we got to shake things up, make it interesting, make it kind of, just like this. It's a hand in the hat and picking out straws. So, it's a bit of a shake-up, and it should make for some great racing opportunities here. After Abu Dhabi, we will be heading to Spa, Belgium. Some tough racing tracks here, but, everybody seems to come to grips with it at some point after quite a few people kind of DNF. But, you got to know what you're doing. So Belgium definitely is a driver's track and poses some great risks, but also some rewarding opportunities for drivers that are able to cash in and get all their lines put together and their turns and everything. So keep an eye out on Belgium there. After that, we will be heading to the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Some great racing here, obviously. I mean, every track is great racing, so I don't know why I keep saying that. Anyway, so tight, short track, but poses for a lot of opportunities for some drivers to hone in on their skills with, winding corners and long straights. So it really has something for everyone here. After Austria, we'll be heading back to Spain for race 16 on May 29th. So after everybody kind of gets used to it in preseason testing, make sure you save your setups and everything because we will be going back to Spain on May 29th. After Spain, we'll be heading to one of my favorites, Saudi Arabia. Everybody loves Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's racetrack. I shouldn't say the country, but some people do. Poses for great racing and has a lot of different tricky parts in it, but also it proves to be a real. Sorry about that. My headphones seem to have died. But Saudi Arabia proves for some great racing, even though it's a very tight street track and brand new. But that's what's good is because it's brand new, people aren't used to it quite yet. So it is really a good test for everybody here. Um, all right. So next up, we have our season finale, which will be in Brazil on June 12th. Everybody loves the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, Brazil. It's a great race. It's a great track. Everyone always has fun. Everyone always does great. So it should be one of the most interesting, amazing, superb season finales that we will have. And I can guarantee you guys that. So, are you calling me poor because I live near Liverpool? No, just because you like Liverpool. But anyways, so back to Interlagos. It should be great. And that is the season calendar. So, without further ado, I'm sure you all are wondering where you will be placed in your respective tiers. So, just to let everybody know beforehand, this will just be the tier placements. This won't be what team you'll be driving for. The team and driver assignments will be next Saturday at the same time as today. So if you are trying to find out which team you're in and everything, check into our stream next week on Saturday. But this one right here is just to find out what tier you'll be placed into. So without further ado, let's get it cracking with tier 1. Before I go into everything, just want to show you guys kind of what we did. So for tier 1, for drivers that were in tier 1 last season, they'll have a blue box. For drivers that were in tier 2 last season, there'll be a green box. For drivers that were in tier 3, they'll have a red box. If they're a brand new driver to RCRL, welcome to our league. You'll have a yellow box around you. If a driver requested to be a reserve driver because they can't allocate so much time to RCRL, then they'll have their name bolded inside one of these boxes. So if say I was a tier 3 driver and I asked to be a reserve driver, my name will be in red, but it will also be bolded. And then finally, for the drivers that won the Drivers' Championship last season, you'll see a little jumping trophy next to their name, and definitely make sure to give them a big congratulations for winning their tier. So without further ado, let's find out who all is going to be placed into tier 1. First up, we have Merc Fusion, Season 4's Drivers' Champion for tier 1. So congrats to Merc Fusion for taking it to the house in the final race of Abu Dhabi, taking it to Tommy and some of the other guys. I know it was very controversial, but was definitely a great race altogether, and definitely a long battle throughout the whole season with some tight racing. So great job to everybody in tier 1. Next up, we have Tommy. So Tommy will be racing besides his championship protagonist, Merc Fusions. After Tommy, we have XTR Red, Kills Rapids, Dublin Man, Kaji. Is it Kaji or KG? I always get mixed up. I think it's Kaji, hopefully. SSRL Gasly. Bruh, Sapano and Wareside, what are y'all doing? I love it. I love the interactions. Stone Elk, our league owner. Ragayut. Hollier Page. Martin. R7 Luke. All. MC Hammer. JJ Hudson. Is it Shuggy or Sugi? I'm going to say Shuggy. Shuggy C. Hey. After Shuggy C, we have Watto, Tier 2's Drivers Championship for Season 4, I should say. After Watto, we have Numeral Rex from Tier 2, so both Watto and Numeral Rex moving up a tier. We have Popov, so Popov is also moving up from Tier 2. Jay Morris, coming up from Tier 2. And so those 20 right there will be your first 20 full-time drivers in Tier 1. So next up, we're going to be going through some of the reserves for Tier 1, and then after the reserves, we'll head on to Tier 2. So the first bit of reserves for Tier 1, Rain Donkey Webb, coming over from Tier 2, so be now reserved for Tier 1. GRT Walshy, or Ski Man, whatever you go by now, coming up from Tier 2 for reserve for Tier 1. FFR Milan, still in Tier 1 as a reserve. Wedgie, coming back from a bit of an absence. Matt Vell. Lizard King. Natona. Nat Dog. Those two were really confusing because I couldn't tell if they were both the same people, but apparently got it. Batters. I didn't put the ETSR or, FFR or whatever your Batters seems to be in. It's kind of like Rain. Changes leagues and stuff at the beginning of their name every day. HSR Thomas. FFR Harry. And Breezy. Also reserving, we have Cormac and Rob Kelly. So these are your Tier 1 reserve drivers. As you can see, there are quite a few, so definitely should make for some full lobbies. So if anybody is ever not able to make it to a Tier 1 race or anything, we have plenty of reserve drivers to step in and fill those shoes to earn some points for their Constructors Championships, as we'll find out next week who all is going where. So these are your Tier 1 drivers. They will be posted into the Discord, so if you haven't, if you weren't able to watch today, or, you can't watch the whole thing, it will be in the Discord, but it's always cool to stick around and watch out for the rest of your comrades. So next up, we have Tier 2. So again, same old kind of legend over here. If you came from Tier 1, blue. If you were in Tier 2, green, yada, yada, yada. It's all the same. So first up for Tier 2's drivers, we have Major Disaster coming over from Tier 1. What will this do to Tier 1's championship? We shall see. He was a Tier 1 driver, so clearly we know he's fast. So will he take the championship and take it to all the drivers in Tier 2? We shall see. Next up, we have Golden Egg Fryer, who remains in Tier 2. CDR Davi. Leocritus. However you say it. Philosopher. Or Prof. Phil. Horse Benz. Ben's horse. Arvs, matey. the pirate. Next up, we have Finnhiver, followed by TDA Dan Roosh. That my mic cut out. After Dan Roosh, we have Driverspore, followed by Alcudia. These two drivers came in towards the latter end of season 4, but they both did some great racing, so glad to have you guys. After Alcudia, we have Henny Island, Active Wolf, and new to Tier 2, we have Tier 3's Drivers Champion, Connor. Congrats, Connor, for a well-fought battle after coming back from a 100-point lead that I had in Tier 3. So, great job, Connor. You deserve it, bro. Also in Tier 3, or Tier 2, will be me. So, Connor, best believe I'm coming for that belt. I am coming to take that shit away. Also in Tier 2, we have Casper Turbo, followed by NYK All Day. And yes, Kaji, it's not A11D4Y, it's All Day. Followed by Wareside Boys, FTM, whatever that stands for. Also in Tier 2, we have Zohan. It's another driver that kind of changes the league names a bit too much, but he was a great teammate. Followed, the last Tier 2 full-time driver we have is Mac Attack. So these 20 will be your full-time drivers in Tier 2. All right, so now on to the reserves for Tier 2. We have Fatal Nation, who is still in the Tier 2. We have Wilsonator, followed by Bashful Carton. Next up, we have a newbie to our RCRL league, so everybody welcome in Imperfect Dread. Next up, we have TBLE Squish. Welcome back to Tier 2. Followed by Tuna Physicist. It's a cool name. ETSR Randy. Daromus Games. Welcome back, Daromus. Followed by Parky, who is making the jump up from Tier 3 as a reserve driver. And a basehead 808. Loves his bass. Rattle in his head with the 808s. Haha, I see what he did there. So these are your drivers for Tier 2. Your 20 full-time drivers as well as the reserve drivers. So big shout out to all of them. Should be a great racing time and should be a very interesting one with Connor and I both still in the same tier. So should be some great moments. Next up, we are going to take a look at Tier 3. So again, same legend, just as you can see, there's no jumping trophy. All the champions have kind of moved on to bigger and better. So should be a great opportunity for everybody in Tier 3 to grab that championship and bring it to the house to get a trophy next to their name for next season. So without further ado, let's go through Tier 3. The first driver that we have in Tier 3 is Huddled Cookie, who surprisingly enough had the third highest average finishing grid spot out of everybody in Tier 3. So great job, Huddled. Really though, you got to start checking Discord and retiring on track whenever we say to retire. So just make sure you keep checking Discord, and yeah, cool. Next up, we have Podulator. It's a great one. After Pod, we have Paul LFC, followed by Gino Rocks. Cam is another one of the young lads that started a bit in the latter end of the season, but did a great job reserve driving for some people. After Cam, we have Yaxley, who was in that group of new drivers from the latter end drivers in Tier 3 as well. Followed by BR Taggart, the Liverpool loving man. Followed by Patra, 400. Frixty, coming back from the latter end of Tier 3, joined us, so welcome back, Frixty. Next up, we have Venom, ULT. Glad to have you. Drunk Sigs. It's a weird name, but he's a cool dude. So, he knows about pushing P, so, keep pushing. Next up, we have Supreme Flashes. Followed by Dark Storm. Cheese Nuggets. Never had a cheese nugget. Hope it's good. Oh, wait, is that just tater tot? No, that's potato. What am I saying? Logan PSQ. Spring Muffin. Paradox. Mr. Soprano. Liam Brisby. Well done, me. Love it. After Soprano, we have Pokery Jokery. Yeti. Welcome back from a long stint away from RCRL. Followed by Barry Saints, who is one of our new drivers in RCRL. So, Barry Saints, welcome to RCRL. Hope you have some fun times here in Tier 3. All right, so these 20 are your Tier 3 full-time drivers. So, big ups to everybody that secured a full-time seat. And next up, we have the reserves for Tier 3, starting with Listen to Drake, Cashro, Aaron Ocon, who has also been away from RCRL for quite a bit, but making a return, Fasaba, Mickey DJ, and that's it. So those are your reserve drivers and full-time drivers for Tier 3. So just want to take this moment to thank everybody for tuning in to our RCRL calendar reveal and tier placements. Hope you all enjoyed finding out which tier you'll be racing in for Tier 3, or for Season 5. Not sure why I said Tier 3. I guess because we're on the screen. Anyways, so tune in next week, next Saturday, for some for the team driver selection draft, as well as our preseason testing. Don't forget, tomorrow too, on Sunday, we'll be having our social race in Imola. I'll set up the lobby, get everybody invited, but make sure to tick attending in the preseason attendance chat in our Discord. Should be a great time for everybody to kind of shake loose those cobwebs that have been growing for about a week. But I know it's not a long time, but look it, we love racing. It's what we do. It's why we're here. So let's keep it going, baby. And I hope you all have a great Season 5 in RCRL. This is your host, B Kush, signing out for the evening. Have a great night, everyone. See you all tomorrow, and see you all next week. Keep it P.